In this video, I'll be reviewing the answers to this grammar handout, which focuses on capitalization and spacing. And then I will be going over the rules for capitalization and spacing. Before we begin, make sure that you have completed the handout, that you have corrected these 3 excerpts of student writing, and you have brainstormed rules for capitalization and for spacing. Okay, let's get started. Our first sentence. Music is something I can always go to, whether I'm sad, happy, depressed, mad, it's always there. Music is my way of life. Each mood has a lyric and each feeling has a beat. It's my way of expressing who I am. One issue here is that we have these lowercase i's. I, the pronoun, when it's referring to you, to who you are, should always be capitalized. So I need to capitalize these i's. Now would be a good time to pause the video and check that you did the same and also capitalize these i's. Next, we do have an issue with spacing with this comma here after life. There shouldn't be a space after the word life. It's just the E and then the comma with no space and then a space afterwards. Next, these are currently run-on sentences. There are too many things in them to make them a sentence, so we're going to have to split some of these up. Music is always something I can go to. Whether I'm sad, happy, depressed, mad, it's always there. Let's see. I'm going to make this first one a sentence. Music is something I can always go to. Capitalize whether to make a new sentence. Whether I'm happy, depressed, or mad, comma, it's always there. Music is my way of life. Each mood has a lyric and each feeling has a beat. It's my way of expressing who I am. I think here, I'm going to turn this into a semicolon so that it works together. And then start a new sentence here. Next one. When I was like about 3 to 4 years old, I really wanted to have a baby brother or sister. I remember that I would always tell my mom I wanted a baby brother or sister. My mom listened to me, but she never told me yes or no. Big problem that jumps out here is that there is no space after the periods. After this period for sister, I need a space. After this period also for sister, I need another space. After a period, you always have a space. This last sentence is a compound sentence. I put together the sentences, my mom listened to me, and then we also have, she never told me yes or no. Each of these things could be a sentence entirely on its own. Because I'm combining 2 sentences, I need a comma as well as the word but. My mom listened to me, comma, but she never told me yes or no. And then I just want to clean up the wording a little bit. Maybe say when I was about 3 or 4 years old. And then add a comma here to separate this dependent clause. When I was about 3 or 4 years old, comma, I really wanted to have a baby brother or sister. It's nice. One thing you could also clean up is I have this. Wanted a baby brother or sister, wanted a baby brother or sister. It's a bit repetitive. So you could clean that up to reduce the repetition. Next. In some video games, there are problems in a game. For example, you hear a character speak, but you don't see his or her mouth moving. Some games have a problem of freezing up when you're playing. For me, that gets annoying, so other games have a problem of glitches. Quite a few games have that. Glitches can sometimes be good, other times they aren't. So again, we have a spacing issue going on here. There should be a space after this period. We also have capitalization. This is the beginning of a sentence, so this S should be capitalized. And here we have too many spaces. Problem of, there's double space. Then in some video games, there are problems in a game. This first part is a clause in some video games. It's a separate clause, so I'm going to separate it with a comma. There are problems in a game. I have the word game in here twice, so I'm just going to say there are problems. For example, set this off with a comma. You hear a character speak, but you don't see his or her mouth moving. This is the same as what we saw above. I'm combining two sentences, so I need a comma but, not just a but. For example, you hear a character speak, but you don't see his or her mouth moving. Some games have a problem of freezing up when you're playing. That's fine. For me, that gets annoying. So I'm getting a little confused here because isn't a glitch a problem in a game? But I'm just going to let that go for now. And here we have this comma really needs to be a semicolon. So now I'm going to talk to you about the rules for capitalization and the rules for spacing. Before I do so, now would be a good time to pause the video and double check that your corrections to the sentences above all work. Now that you've checked your sentences, let's go through the rules for capitalization and spacing. Big capitalization rule. You always capitalize I. I am important. I get to be capitalized. You also capitalize proper nouns. An easy way to remember proper nouns is that these are names. These are the names of people, of places. They are someone's title if it's part of their name, the names of days of the week, of months, of holidays, of countries, of languages. Proper nouns are capitalized. You also always capitalize the first word of a sentence. These are the three top capitalization rules. Capitalize I, capitalize proper nouns like the name of a person, the name of a country, the name of a language, and capitalize the first word of a sentence. As for spacing, a general rule is that you have one space after a punctuation mark. That includes periods, commas, semicolons, question marks, exclamation points. You have one space after these. You have no spaces before punctuation. No spaces before punctuation. No spaces before periods, commas, semicolons, colons, question marks, exclamation points. No spaces before them. There are some punctuation marks for which these rules don't apply. For example, the hyphen, which looks like this, or the dash, which looks like, which is like a double hyphen like this. For hyphens and for dashes, you do not have any spaces before or after. For parentheses, there are no spaces before, after. You close your word in with no spaces separating it from the parentheses. So there are some exceptions. The exceptions are punctuation marks that aren't as widely used. So when in doubt, keep this rule. One space after your punctuation mark and no spaces before. Reviewing this handout should have given you some ideas of how to improve capitalization, spacing, and other grammar issues in your essay. Now you should go back into your essay and make corrections as needed for what you've learned from this video.